let me just call, we have a very eminent set of panelists for this session on NEP, the new wave higher education transformation, challenges and opportunities. It's my pleasure to call on stage Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, co-founder and Chancellor of Shobhit University. Welcome, sir. Next, I'd like to call on stage B.S. Yadav, Chancellor of IES University, Bhopal. Welcome, sir. Dr. Madhu Chitkara, Pro-Chancellor of Chitkara University. Okay, she's not here. Let me call on stage Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, Vice-Chancellor, Chandigarh University. Welcome, sir. Sandeep Marwah, Founder and Chancellor of AAFT University. Dr. Balvinder Shukla, Vice-Chancellor, Amity University, Noida. Dr. Jayanthi Ranjan, Vice-Chancellor, Sharda University, Agra. Yes, she is there. Dr. Dhowmya Bhatt, Dean IQAC, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Yes, ma'am. Mohit Vattal, Executive Director, Sunstone University. Dr. Monika. Okay. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Monika Sethi Sharma, Vice Chancellor of KK Modi University. Okay. As you are all aware, we are running a little late, so we'll try to keep it as short and concise, but try to bring out the crux of our discussion so that happens. So maybe some of the questions I'll club to each of the panelists, and I'll go to each of the panelists with a very fundamental question and a couple of questions clubbed together. One, we had the NEP deployed on July 29, 2020, and it's almost 4 years now. So from each of you, very briefly, I would like to know from your academic institution perspective, what has been the status update, if I may say, and maybe if you can highlight one bottleneck or challenge which has still been there and which you have sort of tried to mitigate that challenge, and where have you faced the trouble in that perspective. So I'll start with you, Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra from Shobhit University. Your perspective on this.
Thank you, Rajneesh. And we were talking, and that new education policy, we have talked so much that again to talk on it, let us try to bring something new in that. If we look at new education policy, and as he asked me that what Shobhit has done, I am sure that every university is implementing it. One, it is not something which should be or which can be implemented by everybody in the same manner. It is nothing like accreditation, approval or something. It is a policy document, a vision document, where you have to see that what fits within your own vision. As a university, when you established the university, what was your vision? What you want to serve? What are the social needs? And accordingly, you have to implement it. As other universities, we must have implemented maximum of the important things. A lot of things are happening now also. One important thing, what is the need, which need to be discussed, is implication of new education policy. From implementation to implication, we have to go. If it is serving the purpose for what this policy has been introduced. And this is the challenge. Challenge is one, everybody is working in silo. Two, challenge is to change the mindsets. And mindset is not within the boundaries of the universities or institutions, it is otherwise also. When we talk about credit transfer, when we talk about many things, we talk on paper, we come to conferences, we talk here. But do you feel that anybody who has earned certain credits from Shobhit University will be accepted by IIT Delhi to earn other credits? Certainly not. Because the mindset is that we are this, we are that. And that has to be changed. And for that purpose, this policy had been introduced. So now implications have to be seen and discussed more than routine implementations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. A very important phrase you mentioned. Look for implementation to implication now. Implementation has been happening, but implication, and very good example in the inaugural session, we heard about this credit thing. But how practically that can be applied in the real sense, and that you correctly mentioned, has the impact of a social dynamics is also there. It's not everything. After all, as you mentioned, NEP is just a policy or a vision document, but its implementation and further implications require a social dynamic upheaval. Great point. I'll come to you next, B.S. Yadav, the same question in terms of where are you from your perspective in terms of NEP implementation and the challenge that you would like to highlight.
So, thank you. What Kunwar sir is mentioned, I think for particularly from education point of view, NEP 2020 is not only great document, it's also brings this entire education system, particularly higher education system in the country, on the forefront. From my university point of view, after this NEP, we did a lot of like brainstorming within our system, and we are now having a lot of partnership with industry people like different IT companies. Even recently we also have few program which is jointly tailored, like from Maruti Suzuki India Limited, we are running one BBA program with them. Similarly, we also have one program with TCS for BTech engineering student and other local industries. So I think this is the way when we can leverage from this NEP 2020. But my view is that because it's required lot of effort on many point. One is that financial, because education is a capital intensive industry, and it's also highly regulated by government. Now you see so many government universities coming for MOU with different private universities, but the level of collaboration is not still there, which is required. Even private university itself is going with hand-holding each other. So I think we have to more because before implementing, a lot of discussion happen. So I think it's now time to do something concrete and leverage from the vision the government is set through this NEP 2020. And I thanks organizer for inviting me to share my views. Thank you.
Thanks. You have again raised a very critical but practical point of view. While you have emphasized and told about the collaboration with the industry and even global academic institutions, there is a challenge, especially when government universities are looking for those collaboration. One, the sector is highly regulated, so how do you work around those strict regulations? And yes, there is a financial challenge also. So those implications also need to be taken care of. Great, thanks. Dr. Manpreet, the same question, your experience on NEP implementation till now and the bottleneck that you have faced.
Yes, it's really one of the great initiative by Government of India, and I feel so proud to be the part of that draft policy when it was there. need is more, awareness is very less. That's the point. And that's why they have taken up the new way, like the Sarthis. Sarthi is a very good concept. Because the policy is curated by the top leaders, academic leaders, bureaucrats, of course, they're sitting in the one place and taking the inputs from all the stakeholders. But the execution has to come from the grassroots level, and that's the learners. The challenge which I'm looking from my perspective of my university being one of the largest scale in the students acquisition as well as the programs. Suppose I have created infrastructure for my input which has been designed and discussed in our AAC, Academic Council. Due to this multiple entry exit mode, if the 100+ students in between the second year or third year would like to come to my university, do I have the acceptance because of my infrastructure part? And of course the resources and other things. Same vice versa. If my 100+ students between the journey, they will leave me to go to some other campuses with the credits, of course, it is the policy says. Can I support my infrastructure with the same capital for which I have decided for 4 years of program? This is one challenge. And of course, this policy has to be carried these solutions by creating some supernumerary seats. In average university, like, okay, 20% above the capping, you can take from the multiple entry and exit mode. So not more than 20% you should release, or not more than 20% your sanction seats to be taken. Because it again comes with the ranking and accreditations. And I totally agree with my co-panelists what Shekhar sir said. Yes, this is the mismatch. That's why I think NAC have taken a very right decision to be removing the grading system and coming to the binary mode. So let it is accredited, then it's accredited. It should not be discriminated with the A++ or with A+, or sometimes we start thinking whether this campus is good or bad. End of the day, it's a university and it's a UGC recognized university, and the curriculum is same everywhere. Yes, of course, due to demographic divide or maybe other reasons, it can be distinguished in that way. So this is the challenges we are facing. Otherwise, the fruits are really very good, and it is going to be being it's a dynamic in nature, and it will take years to become in the right shape. It will come. That's what I just want to say.
Thanks. So, in fact, I think two of the biggest challenges that have come up so far, this still a lot of the stakeholders are working in silos, and the other is this practical challenge of this implementation in terms of how many students you need to intake and how many students are going to other universities, and there is a lack of standardization for actually the ABC thing to work fruitfully. So maybe a couple of panelists, I'll come specifically, but before that I'll come to you, Sandeep, Marwah, again the same question. Your experience in terms of where do you stand in terms of NEP implementation and your challenge?
Well, thank you very much. I'm recollecting two lines कि सभी दिशाओं से शुभ सुंदर भाव विचार भरे नित अंतर पुण्य धरा बन जाए स्वर्ग ये मेरे यत्नों से करुणा कर. The whole higher education system is based on, with new education policy, on evoking emotions and thinking out of the box, innovative ideas. This is what the nutshell of the new education policy. For me, it's absolutely not at all new, because AAFT is already a case study in 27 countries of the world. We are already a case study with UCLA in New York, in USA, with many other universities which have been studying AAFT wholeheartedly. And AAFT is already a case study in new education policy. So I'm very happy that what we've been doing for the last 31 years has been taken by the new education policy today. So I'm very confident what I'm talking right now. And because time is short, so I can condense the whole new education policy in a word called education. Because the new education policy, it's saying E. E stands for entertainment. The whole education has to be very entertaining, liking, loving, so that we can bring back students into the classroom, and the grasping power of the student has to be on a highest level. When I say D, D stands for discipline. You cannot miss on discipline, determination, and dedication. These are the three terms which I'm using for D, which been mentioned many times in new education policy, that this has to be taken into account when you are running an educational institution. U stands for working under controlled conditions. That means you have to, you are liable to government bodies, you are working under limited conditions, and don't forget all those SDGs, Sustainable Development Goal, 17 points, which are very important to bring into the education system. When I say C, C stands for two, C stands for commitment. That we have to bring in the commitment back into the classroom, which has unfortunately been missing from the whole country. And C also stands for communication, because communication skill is going to take you to a better height. Everyone knows about it. I'm not going any more about these explanations. I'm not giving for all these words. Then A stands for being ambitious. You have to be entrepreneur, you have to think big, you have to think out of the box, you have to plan big, design big, dream big. This is what Prime Minister has been talking from every platform, wherever he's been talking about education. So that part of ambition has to bring back into the classroom, so that at the end of the day we can create better and a bigger quantity of entrepreneurs who can bring in business on the floor and take many people into their own businesses. And then T stands for techno-savvy. Pandemic has taught us enough, but then don't forget that just now in the last session, people have been talking about GPT and all those things. It's just the beginning, trust me. There's so many apps, there's so many new techniques which are coming into education that we all will be surprised to see. And we don't have to be afraid from all these things. Rather, we have to be mentally prepared now to take all these new inventions and discoveries into education system. We have to go parallel with it. We have to adapt them. We have to make them as a part of the education to make our education international and up to the mark. That's what is needed. T stands for all the techniques. I stands for information. What information you're delivering into the class, it matters. So anything which is already printed, which is already on the net, probably may not attract a student in the next few years. So you have to bring in your experience back into the classroom. Your experience is going to be your experience. It cannot be it has not published in books. So that means anything and everything to do with the industry interface, interactions, joint ventures, MOUs, and all those things we have to bring back into the education so that extraordinary education can be delivered. Then O stands for overall development of the child, which that means workshops, seminars, symposium, interaction programs, festival, visits, foreign faculty, guest faculty, foreign tours and whatnot. Whatever an institution or a student can afford to out of all this, that will make this education absolutely state of art. And last but not the least, N stands for being nationalist. If we are not in a position to create a patriotism within the student, then the whole education system is bogus and is weak. That's what I believe. And these are the terms which I have given to Government of India, and I'm very happy they have very well accepted to cut short. And new education policy is not a difficult job to adapt. That's for information. Thank you very much.
Thanks. A longer reply, but great you did that education acronym, explained, and that sort of, in a nutshell, summed it up. Next, I'll come to Dr. Balwinder Shukla, and the point that I'd like to, while taking your update on NEP, I would also like, we talked about that working in silos, which is still happening. So how do you see from this implementation of NEP perspective that mindset change happening and no more working in silos? Dr. Balwinder Shukla. Oh, she's not there. Okay, so I'll then come to Dr. Jayanthi Ranjan with the same question.
I'll take only 2 minutes. Namaste to everybody. NEP is actually a boon. Two things I'm telling you at Sharda University, Agra, as especially we have introduced a community connect program called Progressive Caste of India, 4 castes of India towards Viksit Bharat. Farmer, youth, women, as well as, yes, the poor people, 4 people. So we have introduced. I'll tell you whether NEP is there or not, every student needs to have that common sense, which is most uncommon. We are talking about AI center, drone center and all. So at Sharda University, Agra, we have introduced the curriculum itself, SDG and ESG based. And last one I'm telling you as a message to everybody. NEP is a policy document, right? Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram kim karoti lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanaha kim karishyati. When you don't have, when the shastras are already available to you, you need to use self-prajna, right?
True.
If for a blind man, if you show a mirror, he will not be able to see it. I think the policy has to be introspected. It's a very well drafted. The challenges being multiple entry, multiple exit. We are a price-conscious private university anywhere. You need to have a lot of bandwidth of pool of faculty for this multiple entry and multiple exit. I think that's a continuous challenge anywhere. Thank you.
Thanks for the short and crisp answer, but you have raised a very important point, bringing all the communities sort of together, and that ultimately the standardization also, because otherwise, or if I may use the word democratization of education to an extent, that is also very essential. Next, Dr. Dhowmya Bhatt, I'll come to you with the same question, and a little bit also on, we heard about the practical challenges in implementation of this ABC thing across. So from your perspective, your experience on NEP implementation, and if you can throw some light on this challenge.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this wonderful forum wherein we discuss certain important points, the academicians, the industry coming together and taking it to a good platform. If we look at Viksit Bharat 2047 in the perspective of new education policy, it is that we first educate, we elevate, and then we expect our youth to innovate. As policy makers, especially the quality assurance cell that I lead, is that how the policy is made and how it goes to the stakeholders and how all it is going to work is what that matters. NEP also does the same. So when we see the opportunities, it is multifaceted. Of course, dynamic learning, we bring people from various diverse backgrounds, we give them equal opportunities, we raise them up, skilling, critical thinking, which is very important for the youth, and you must all agree that this one critical thinking sense in youth is gradually decreasing, which is very alarming as well. We need to see how we develop is all the positive points of the new education policy. Now, stating about a policy document like Dr. Jayanthi mentioned, it is a document and we must know to customize it. Our audience come from diversified backgrounds and we need to know how to present it to them, what to and what not, and how, where and when. That is the biggest challenge. A student coming from a totally background of learning in local language is just brought and put among students who have been actually from the urban side, will not give them an equal opportunity, which is again like not doing justice to the policy as well. So that is where the challenge is. How we are preparing them? Who is preparing them? And the people who are preparing, are they prepared themselves?
Okay.
That is the most important thing that we need to look into. Train the trainers is one very important thing. That is the basis of implementing new education policy. Who is doing that to the students? What they are being told? How they are prepared? And then we can expect a transformation in the mindset, and that is where the actual implementation will at least start. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks. So you have focused on that democratization part, but more important is training the faculties who will ultimately pass on the training to the learners. Dr. Monika, the same question, your experience in terms of NEP deployment and challenge.
Sure. Is that audible? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, you're audible.
All the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Very rightly said by everyone, this policy we all are opting for this particular year, I think in our state of Chhattisgarh, it is like mandatory that we are going to follow. But you know, we have two kinds of programs running. One is the simple degree, which will come under the Chhattisgarh government, and another one is the courses which are being coming in the AICT. So that will be a different curriculum altogether. So as a private university, yes, right to say that what will the different challenges, I think it has been said, we all are cost-sensitive universities. Multiple exit, multiple entry will definitely impact, may whatever we say. But it is going to impact. But yes, we all have to get ready for, and like, we have to be very sure, and we all have to be very optimistic that how do we opt for this? And I personally feel, if I talk about my university, KK Modi University, we have that. We believe that 7 vachan, which we give it at the marriage, we also have to give it to the government, that best of the infrastructure which can support national education policy, best of the academics, which definitely will take it from the government as well as add more skills to it, best of the teachers, which we have to give, best of the digitization, best of the governance, and the support, collaboration, networking, which you are already doing, because without collaboration, without networking, it will not work. So I personally feel these are the 7 major keys which all university, we all have to adopt. But yes, we all are little conscious that how we are going to do it. We all have been working, when we talk about the private university, already every university is working on the skills. Like, we call our university as world-class career university. So we say that we focus only on the career. But when you have to make the differentiation being the same, it is a challenge.
Got it.
Thank you.
Saad Vachan in education, as you have emphasized, and multi-entry and multi-exit, that seems to be a sort of the Achilles heel right now, in terms of maybe a little strong word, but that's where everyone is looking for a solution for the practical. So Mohit Wattal, I'll come to you, slightly different perspective. Now you have heard everyone, and you are an academic institution which sort of helps these universities in further implementing what they are planning. So what's your experience on the NEP front?
First of all, thank you for having me here, and I would like to thank and pay respect to all my co-panelists here. See, as an institution, we have seen there are a lot of, while there are a lot of operational challenges, multiple entry, multiple exit, multiple discipline students coming out, in an engineering college, you may have to start a humanitarian, subjects and all. But I think one key focus point has been skill. Skill has been talked a lot about, and skill is not something, I think we have to look at it in a way that it is acquired over a period of time. So right now in the current ecosystem, where you see when the placement season starts, and in colleges and universities you see training and development happening or certifications happening, those certifications are not skills. It has to start from the moment student enters the college.
Okay.
Now that requires a strong infrastructure. Infrastructure not in terms of building, lab or content, but faculties. What kind of content are you giving? How modern is the content? Will it be, transformed into a skill? Will it give a career path to a student? I know Python. I know in my engineering second year I studied Java, I studied .NET, but did that make me a full stack developer? No. I didn't know what a cloud administrator was. Recruitment has changed. They don't come to hire freshers anymore. They come to hire a full stack developer. They come to hire a cloud administrator. This has to happen from day one in the classroom. I think great that the NEP has covered this in the changes. At Sunstone, we have been doing that from the last 6 years, where we work closely with universities and impart these skills from day one. But I think other than the operational challenges, these skill development challenges are going to play a major role here.
Okay, thanks. Basically, the emphasis is on an overall holistic infrastructure, which includes from the curriculum, the faculty, and not just the physical infrastructure.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one more point, if I can take a minute. It's also about the overall student experience. Student in Bhopal or student in a tier 3 city in this country has to relocate, has to migrate if he needs a job in Google, if he aspires to go to Google, will come to Delhi or to a metro city to do a program or to do engineering or MBA. Giving that same experience, that same exposure in the same city that the student does not have to migrate is also again going to be one of the key challenges. And that's where again we have been working on from the last six years or so.
Okay, thanks. Before wrapping up, and very briefly, just 30 seconds to each of you, in terms of going ahead for the next 3-4 semesters, if we look at, in terms of NEP, the implementation, the challenges that we have talked about, what are your plans, starting from you, Kunwar, Shekhar, Vijendra?
First of all, thank you, Rajneesh. Very diversified views from NEP to education to infrastructure to finance to skills. Everything you tried to cover in this single panel. So in 30 minutes, if you ask me what has to be done, from learn the skill to learn. This is the journey what everybody has to take. And we all have to ensure to think beyond placement. Remember one thing, education does not mean placement. Placement, job is a byproduct. And when we will start thinking so, then NEP's real soul will come in picture, which says to become a good human being first, holistic development, professional development, vocational development, and overall development. This is what everybody has to do. It is not a journey of 1 semester, 2 semester. It is a journey of thought process which everybody has to take. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. B.S. Yadav.
I think to briefly summarize, my opinion is that it should be outcome-based education. So we have to do complete circle, right? Placement is also one part, and teaching learning process, so many things, co-curricular development. So I think outcome-based education is the best thing, which can holistically develop the personality of the student, which is the aim of NEP.
Okay. Thanks. Dr. Manpreet.
Yes, everybody is on the same journey and same we are taking. So we have taken the initiative to make one thing clear, that 10 years or 20 years back or before NEP, we used to say the university is supposed to be the curriculum driven. And we are generating the graduates. Now, because of this NEP, I say proudly, it is now technology driven, demand driven universities. Of course, the curriculum can be tweaked out even every semester also. And at the same time, no, we are not now generating graduates, we are generating learners, the lifelong learners. The moment they will go out from the campus, they are the true learner. If they will say, I'm a master in any engineering, no. Because we can't say this is the only curriculum of the master engineering. The B part, we have to understand our learners, what is the difference between the connects and relations. Because connects can be made through the LinkedIn, but the relation has to come with the peers learning. This is the what. So this is what we are doing through the NEP, and this is the journey everybody has to be taken that way.
Okay, thanks. Dr. Jayanthi. First, I think Sandeep is there. Let's go on sequence.
Thank you. Well, 31 years in skill development and the most decorated institution in the country. with 9 world records, we need not to get into anything new or extraordinary because we are much ahead of the education system which is already running in the country, thank God. The only thing which we have thought is to enhance, upgrade all the departments what we are running from here. So whether it's infrastructure, equipment, curriculums, anything and everything. You make a list, there are 23 points, and I think we are upgrading everything up to, again, international standards.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Upgrade, now I'll come to you, Dr. Jayanthi.
I have one word called experiential learning towards outcome-based education, because to start with that only, you see, knowing, doing, being, which we call in, KSA-based skills, knowledge, skill, and attitude. This is required for the student from day one onwards, because the skills, the so-called placements towards career development, everything will be inculcated. So experiential learning is the key.
Yes. So outcome-based experiential learning, that's a very important point that you mentioned. Dr. Dhowmya.
Yes, the long-term goals of academicians should be to develop the ability in students to learn, unlearn and relearn. Then career, jobs, goals, everything just comes on its own way. Once the student has this mindset of adaptability, then these goals always are achievable. Enough measures are being taken towards the implementation of new education policy, but yes, it is the timeline that is actually pushing us from the behind. We need to set targets to achieve, and so I think if the student force is upskilled and they are taken into the path of clarity in their thoughts, this process of implementing new education policy should be easier for all of us.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Monika.
Yeah, I'll just put myself into the shoes of the student and being more student-centric. And I personally feel new education policy is going to enhance their journey mapping, because that is very important. In India, what we are looking forward with this particular new change is that we have to support the students for completing their degree with some skills. So that is where we all, as an academicians, we all have to support the students that whenever they come to any of the university, any of the institute, we need to support that their learning, their high order thinking should be increased and their journey should be mapped every step so as something extra can be given to them apart from the academics.
Okay, so
thank you.
Being more student-centric. Thanks. And Mohit, you have the last word, literally.
Thank you. I think it's going to be a transformative journey from marks or subjects to skills and from outputs to outcomes now. This is what everybody has been waiting for. So yeah, we also look forward to play a role in it.
Okay, so another quotable thing, outputs to outcomes. Excellent. I would like to call Shobhit Goswami to just hand over a token of appreciation to all the panelists. Let me call Kunwar, Shekhar, Vijendra. Yes, Kunwar, Shekhar, Vijendra. B.S. Yadav. B.S. Yadav. Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna. Next, Sandeep Marwah. Dr. Sandeep Marwah. Dr. Jayanthi Ranjan. Dr. Dhowmya Bhatt. Dr. Monika Sethi Sharma. Mohit Vattal. Dr. Monika Sethi. Dr. Monika. Mohit Vattal.